People talk about building relationships, but people are not building relationships. Everything that people have put out there has been generic. People now want intimacy. They want that real relationship. They want that.
Welcome, Andy. My name is Taniya Hussain. I'm the host of this Reflective Space podcast, and you all know all about me. I'm a social worker for 30 plus years, and I want to talk less about myself. This is all about Andrew Medlam, who's based in the north of England. He really helped me in my business back in 2020. It was the most amount of money that I made in my business, and I've learned a lot from him. So, Andy, please introduce yourself.
Absolutely. First and foremost, Tanya, I'm really privileged to be here. So, as you said, I am from the north of England, and I'm from a very small mining town called Barnsley, between Sheffield and Leeds, which is roughly around about an hour away from Manchester. For the last decade, I've been doing what I do right now. But in a nutshell, I help leaders in the expert industry to be able to package their knowledge, their craft, their wisdom, their magic into an offer that's irresistible to their marketplace. That's a no-brainer to their marketplace. That gets that instant yes. And I help them to sell that easily. And the way that we do it is totally different to the way that 98% of the marketplace does it.
How is it different?
So it's different because everybody in the marketplace today is doing the same thing. So in order to be able to get attention in the marketplace, in order to be able to book calls with the marketplace, because if you are somebody that needs to make sales, and the way that you make sales is actually going face to face, eyeball to eyeball, belly to belly with somebody on Zoom, in order to have that conversation, in order to book calls, in order to close deals, you need to be different. You need to be different today in the marketplace than what everybody else is doing, because everybody is doing the same thing. And it's like a carbon copy. Everybody's putting their own little spin on it and their little own interpretation of it. But ultimately, effectively, it is all the same. And if everybody's doing the same, but of different variations of it, then here's what most people don't understand, that they need to play a different game at a different level.
Could you give me an example? What is it? What's the same?
Absolutely. So what's the same? So what has everybody been doing for the last 5, 8, 10 years? Webinars, VSLs, building email lists, creating generic blueprints, lead magnets, right? Building Facebook communities, running challenges, writing books, holding coffee chats, doing seminars. Everybody's doing the same. And here's the critical thing that most people are not aware of, is that because everybody's doing the same thing, yes, 8 years ago, it worked. It was impactful. It worked, right? Because it was new to the marketplace. But now it's no longer new to the marketplace. The marketplace has now become more sophisticated. So because people are more sophisticated and they've been down all these rabbit holes before, by positioning the same thing in front of them, it's market message fatigue. It's no longer having the same impact. So it's different in terms of we don't do that. So it might seem like from the outside, we're doing the same thing, but we're not doing the same thing. So you got a question there?
What is different? Because you've been doing this for 10 years and you helped me make loads of money, and you've had other people that make loads of money. So what is it? I'm sure people are like sitting at the edge of their seat right now, listening or watching this. What is it that Andy does that is different?
Another good question, Tanya. Yeah, okay, so here's what is different. Personalization, intimacy, real connection. People talk about building relationships, but people are not building relationships. People talk about having real conversations, but they're not having real conversations. That's the difference. Up until now, everything that people have put out there has been generic. People now want intimacy. They want that real relationship. They want that trust. There's a massive lack of trust in the marketplace today. People have already been burnt. People have already invested. Right? So it's like, what makes you different?
I am so really glad that you've said that, because sophisticated buyers, like I'm one, right, are cynical buyers because they've been burnt. They've spent thousands and got nothing in return, or they've spent hundreds. Maybe they might have even spent billions and got nothing in return. So they're looking for a good return of investment. They want to trust you, and that is like one of the basics in business, is the basics in life, that if people are not going to trust you, they're not going to part with money. So how do you personalize?
So this is what we do. And this is the sales. This is like our sales cadence. And it's just really based around three basic principles. Is first and foremost, understand what everybody else is doing. Once you understand what everybody else is doing, it's really easy to do something different, to be a little bit more creative. On the first, understand, just take a step back and look at this from a high picture first. If we are not having conversations with people, then we're not getting into conversations with people, and conversations leads to making offers. So we need to have conversations. Most people are just relying on the algorithm to allow their posts to go viral, or wait for people to connect with them because they've read a few posts. Well, we don't live in that era today. So we need to have conversations. Most people, what they're doing, they're just having lame, low level, low surface conversations that's not leading anywhere. There's no leadership behind the conversation. So the first thing that we do when we start a conversation with a prospect, and let's say that like your audience right now, they don't have an audience to tap into. They don't have a following. They don't have an email list. They maybe just starting off. Maybe they've got 1 or 2 clients, but they now need to get more, right? So here's what we do first and foremost is we spotlight audiences.
Okay.
And let me explain what I mean about spotlighting audiences. In the marketplace today, there is 90% of people that are suffering with a problem that your audiences can help. But 90% of their marketplace, they're not buyers. Not everybody, just because they're suffering with a problem, it doesn't mean they're ready to pull their credit card out of their pockets and invest. They're not, unfortunately. So it's important to be able to spotlight the top 10% of your marketplace who are already in the marketplace looking to invest. So this is actually spotlighting buyers in the marketplace. So already we are stacking the decks of cards in our favor to be able to make more sales if we can spotlight in the marketplace, well, who's already looking to invest at this level into something that I do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I hope I put that across because it can get quite complex. I hope I put that in across in layman terms where your marketplace can.
Yeah.
So once we understand and we can spotlight potential buyers and really targeted leads, then it's a case of making them aware that you exist. So this is how we do it. So we will start a conversation. And this conversation is totally different to the way that anybody else would start a conversation. First and foremost, we would spend around about 5, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, just getting a quick understanding of this person. And we would pick something out of what we see that really inspiring. There's something that's really magnifying, and something that you can see that is showing their next level identity. Because the way that people put themselves out there, they put themselves out there showing up from a higher level identity. So it's important to be able to grab that and recognize that and then showcase that inside that conversation. So we would jump and we start a conversation by, and I'll use you as an example, Tanya. I was hey, Tanya, just wanted to show light on this. Really love the way that you're showing up in your Muslim community as the alchemist serving your community. I really see you as a leader in the industry. Keep shining your light.
Yeah.
The coaching industry needs a lot more people like you. Love what you do. Right. So straight away, we're starting off by paying a really high level compliment.
Yeah.
When you understand and when you see what most people are doing, it's just like, Tanya, how's your day going?
Yeah, I get pitched most of the time on Facebook message. Most of the time I block. And then usually people do see, because I say I'm the Muslim alchemist, I actually don't just work with Muslims. I work with high performers, high achievers, people extremely actually very successful. And they come to me because they are very successful on the outside. They're kind of making lots of money, or they're very big in the entertainment industry, but inside they don't feel very successful. And so I say I'm the Muslim alchemist because I combine Jungian psychology and Islamic psychology, and I'm a transformational coach. So because you've cut with that kind of first introduction to me, you're like highlighting to me, obviously that makes me feel, oh my God, he's recognized my expertise.
Absolutely.
Your energy behind those words, there's something, because you've seen me, that makes me seen and understood. That makes me want to have that conversation with you. Whereas, hi, how are you? Is like behind, is there somebody trying to sell it to me? Is a bot? I have all these different like questions coming. So most of the time. Actually, there was just one recently I didn't block. I basically said, no, I don't want 40 people in my calendar. I actually only work with three clients in the year. Yeah. And I'm really misnomer in the online space because I still love my social work job. I'm still doing my social work job because it keeps me grounded, although I don't need to money wise. Right. And so it's like people just don't understand what I'm doing. I'm full of contradictions, but yeah, I know how to serve my clients. Whoever comes into my reflective spaces, I serve far and beyond, and they feel very held because I've been in this business for 10 years. I've been holding space for people for 30 plus, although I look very...
You are one of the better coaches, Tanya, in the marketplace.
Yeah. And this thing, I'm really glad that you've said this, to be seen and understood is the key for you to get clients.
Yeah.
I think when you and I were working, it was like around the pandemic time. And I came into this online space and sort of started this business 2018. I found the online coaching industry 2017. But like before that, I was just doing my social work. But I think that was like the height. 2016 to 2020 was the height when lots of online coaches made a lot of money in a very short amount of time. And then tell me if you disagree with me. I'm not saying people aren't making money. Still people are making money. Absolutely. But they a lot of them made obscene amounts of money very quickly. And some of them, it went to their heads, right? And some of it didn't. They were very rounded people and well-rounded people and grounded people, and they're still serving. And for some of them, I've noticed quite a few that were very loud and very in the space and like boasting about their 10K, 100K. Most of them have actually gone bankrupt. Some of them have gone into jobs. Yeah. Some of them, they've just totally disappeared wherever. I'm not even talking about just Facebook.
That's right. I had a conversation with somebody last week and actually created a post about it. And they used to run a 7-figure business. And today they are, I wouldn't say they're struggling, but they realize that what did work is no longer working. There's a lot of people that are still selling as though it's 2016. And obviously we move forward in 2025, just beating the same drum and doing the same thing over and over again. It worked, but you got to move with the times. You got to move with the marketplace. You got to move with people's psychology and sophistication levels. And just for your audience as well, just to illustrate and outline that what I am talking about and what I am teaching is time and tested. This is the way that people have built business for centuries. This is the way when I was a consultancy business, going back, before I started my consultancy business, when I was in sales, executive sales, this is the way that I worked as when I was employed. This is how I put £2.5 million in new sales on their bottom line. Just by these processes that I'm walking and I'm sharing with you today, bring those into the online space. It still works because human psychology is still the same. The psychology in sales is still the same. And like you mentioned, you believe that people are still making money in the industry. Like my client, Dr. Darlene, she did $15,000 at the beginning of this year from a standing start in the first 30 days. One of my clients did $24,000 in 30 days. And then she went on to doing $36,000. Julie did $50,000 in 90 days because it's basic principles of human basic psychology when it comes to sales.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have got caught in I want to build a webinar, I want to build a VSL, I want to build a sales funnel, I want to run Facebook ads, I want to remove myself from the conversation of sales because this other thing is going to do it for me. And now people are realizing and understand they've actually got to step into sales and be that leader-led salesperson. Because yes, you are a coach, but if you want to build a business, you need to be the CEO of that business and you need to run and operate that business as the CEO and as a leader.
And this is the thing that lots of people don't understand, that if you're not leading, what's a coach? A coach leads, right? If you're not leading yourself, how are your prospective clients or your current clients or even your past clients that might want to rehire you, how are they going to trust that? If you're not leading yourself, they're going to instinctively, they're going to feel that. And this is where unfortunately, what I feel, there was a lot of shaming in the online space, right? And I think some of that shaming comes from certain people. That's all they've known, because it's the shaming and the blaming in some Facebook groups. Oh my God, you haven't made this amount of money in this short a time, right? If somebody says, would you agree? If somebody says that to you, whoever that person is, they've got an agenda. Nobody should be shaming you, because first of all, unless they know you, right? They've met you in person and they know your whole history. They don't have any right to say that, because they're a stranger in the online space. Would you agree with that, Andy?
I would agree with that. There's a lot of people in the industry that they try to sell from that negative point of view. And they're trying to make you feel bad for where you are, try and make you feel as though you're not moving fast enough, make you feel as though you're doing the wrong things, to manipulate you into buying their own thing, or the thing that they're peddling at that time, because they've got an agenda. And ultimately, it's like this happened to me. I remember in the early stages, I experienced that as well. And I was like, this is my business. I run my business. I control my business. And I don't need anybody. And I don't take anybody's opinion of where I am, how fast I'm going. And I just ignore people. The industry is full of people like that. And by being a leader, you recognize that and you rise above that.
Yeah.
What I'd like to do, Tanya, if I may, just continue with the rest, just for for your audience who's wanting to know the bigger picture of getting clients. So once I reach out to somebody and I've got their attention, you're so right in saying, like, it allows them to be seen, to be heard, to be recognized, to be like, oh wow, somebody sees me at the level that I'm trying to put myself out there at. So that opens up the conversation. But then as a business owner, what we need to do straight away, and as quickly as possible, is understand, is this person a potential lead? Because just because you reached out to them and you start a conversation, as a business owner, you need to drive the conversation forward. You need to lead the conversation forward. And quite quickly, you need to understand, is this somebody that I need to take this conversation further forward with? Are there somebody that needs what I have? So then the next message that I send out is by offering them something that I've created this for you. Would you be interested in me sending you this? Whatever that is, but it's something that is going to serve them for where they're at in order to be able to move themselves forward with whatever it is that they're looking to do. So, and it's like sending an insight. And this is where the personalization comes into play, because everybody again is just giving generic blueprints, generic PDFs. I've created this document. I think you bet, but it's generic BS. So by positioning this in front of them, this personalized, it gets people to say, yes, I would love to see it. And it's just a very direct response marketing message. And most people are scared to doing that. But you've got to look at this from, take your ego out of this. You're running a business. You need to know, is this a lead? Is this not a lead? If it's not a lead, if they don't want it, then you can still carry that conversation on. You can still build that relationship. It might lead somewhere. No, you're not going to spend a lot of your time there, because it's your duty to find those leads. Who wants this personalization? Yeah. And I can assure you, and people want this as well, because they know that the conversation is leading somewhere. There's direction in the conversation, and the sophisticated marketplace, they want this. Yeah. Because they know that you're showing up yourself with leadership. Yeah. So as soon as somebody says, yes, I would love it, send them it. What have you got? What's on your mind? What do you want to share? Then you can create something that's personalized that you can send them. And it might be an image. It might be something that you create on Canva. It might be something that you just write down on a bit of paper, on a napkin. It might be like in steps, or a document, or a drawing. It might be a Loom video that's only 3 minutes long. I did 12 yesterday, and I'll show the uptake on that as well. This is very quickly pushing that position of expertise. And as soon as somebody comes back and says, yes, I'm interested, then a potential lead. Yeah. Then a lead. So then you send them something that's personalized. And let me just tell your audience, I'm getting 33% uptake on this. Wow. If you just look at most people ghosting people inside DMs. I'm getting 33% open rate. So I know if I send 100, that's on average 33 people is going to say, yes, I'm interested. Yeah. That's because it works. Yeah. Basic human psychology selling.
Okay.
So then you send them that loom. Now, most people that's been told you need to send 100 DMs, you need to do all this, you need to like just get through a load of people. And most people are just burning through leads.
Yeah.
Doing it this way, you're actually building real-time conversations.
Yeah.
So then you send them this. It might take you 2 or 3 minutes, 5 minutes to create this. You send them it, and then here's the secret: is you don't just send the loom, or you just don't just send them the image. Actually, send 2 or 3 short voice notes afterwards that's explaining what I've sent, why I've sent it, and the benefits of this to you. So those voice notes is just maybe 50 seconds, 60 seconds voice notes. So understand this as well, and understanding how the brain works. The brain remembers visual images more than just plain texts.
Yes.
When they see an image, they zone into that image than just reading text. So again, understanding psychology, we're using images inside Messenger, which gets them to tap, open it up, zoom in, lean into it. What is it they've sent? And then the voice notes, because then we take in the modality from just plain text to image to them actually now hearing you.
Yeah.
So now they can hear your voice, they can hear your personality, they can hear your passion, they can hear your expertise.
Yeah.
And then, so this blows people's minds. This blows people's minds, because here's the thing: you are serving without selling. You're showing up to serve.
Yeah.
But by default, serving is selling.
Yes, this is something that you said that really stuck to me. And one thing that I've always found is even previous clients, right? They might still need you just because you served them, I don't know, 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 3 years ago. They might be, and this kind of really helps for multi-experts like me, right? They might have a different problem. Their problem might not be the parenting problem. It might now be the relationship problem, or their problem might not be a health problem. It might be something else. Just because they paid you money a while ago, they might still want to pay you money, and you will be serving them by selling to them.
But can you remember that first client that you got when we were working together, in the short time that we were working together? You'd already been working with this lady, and then you went back to her. I'm just thinking now, and then you sold the biggest package for 30-day container, which was £5,000.
Yeah, because I had served her.
You'd already served before, right?
In her Facebook group, because she saw me as this Muslim scholar. She wasn't Muslim, but she was Christian. But she saw me as this Muslim scholar and was really impressed with my knowledge and in spirituality. And because she trusted me, because I had really served her inside this Facebook group, which she was the host of, she trusted me. And that was like the biggest amount of money that I've made. And she was a really difficult client, very sophisticated. She would never expose her vulnerability in the online space. And this is the thing, what lots of people don't understand. The ones, even the most successful, the ones that are making loads of money or they're like really famous, right? People have insecurities. They have vulnerabilities, right? I'm not saying prey on them, but don't assume. This is one of my other coaches said to me, a lot of people in the online space are projecting an exaggerated version of success, right?
100%.
I kind of want you to like maybe reveal a little bit more behind the curtain, the stuff that people don't want to talk about, but we know building a business is hard work. If anybody says it's not, don't believe them. I want you to like peel away a bit more of the curtain now, Andy.
Yeah, totally. I think the coaching industry has been taught that get your certificates, get accredited, be good at doing what you're doing, and clients will just flock your way. And unfortunately, that's not the truth. That's far from the truth. The real reality is that's not going to happen. And it's one thing mastering your craft. It's another thing building a business. And it's not all strategy. The biggest battle that you will have in building your business is the internal battle that you have with yourself. Here's what I always say to people, is that most people don't have a sales problem. They have a personal problem that shows up in the sales results. And if we don't solve that problem, internal problem, then nothing external will ever come into fruition. So it's all about, for me, It's up-leveling your identity to becoming the person that you want to be, the person that you need to be in order to run that 10K month business, in order to run that 6-figure month business, 7-figure month business, right? Whatever level you want to be. If you've never had it, if you've never experienced it, if you've never lived it, then you're not the person that can have it. You need to become it first. And this is one of the things that people say, I'll become it later. I'll just work behind the scenes. I'll just throw a few things at the wall. Things will work. I'll not get found out. I can fake it until I make it. It's BS. You've really got to do the internal work first. It doesn't take long to shift the mentality, the beliefs, the limiting obstacles that are stopping you to raise your game at the level that you need to do. But you need to inject that into your day-to-day routine each and every day. And then suddenly compound effect takes place, where then you naturally become that. But you need to start with that. It's not all strategy. Another thing is that understanding building a business, and again, and I had this conversation with a few of my clients a few weeks ago, like cards on the table, pulling back the curtains, and just talking real raw truth about building a business. When I was a sales executive, each and every morning, I had targets, I had KPIs, numbers, key performing indicators, benchmarks that I had to hit each and every day. Because if I didn't hit them, then I'll be out of a job. So in order to get sales, like you are a business owner, you are in sales, like it or not. So you've got to have KPIs. If you want to hit 10K a month, then there's certain things, there's non-negotiables that you can't escape from not doing. If you want to build a business, you've got to do those things. You've got to do those things. And those things means generating leads every single day. If you're thinking, I don't need to generate leads, then you're already on the wrong foot. You need to be able to generate leads each and every day. You need to be having conversations each and every day, and not just one conversation, 2 conversations. You're building a business. And if you want longevity in your business, and if you want consistency in your business, if you want your business to be predictable, then you've got to be predictable. You've got to be consistent. So you need to be showing up each and every day, generating leads, driving conversations, and booking calls, accepting no's, right? Go for no. This is another thing. Let's talk about sales. Sales, you're going to get no mores than yeses. It's inevitable. Embrace it, understand it, accept it, let go of your ego, and accept. Here's what I teach my clients. Go for no's, right? Because you find yeses in the no's. You'll get a no. Amazing, fantastic. That moves me closer to a yes. I've got another no. Amazing, fantastic. I take my emotions out of it. If I get a no, if I get a yes, it doesn't matter. It's business. So you might need to go through 3 no's, 4 no's, 5 no's, and I'll actually reveal something to you to get your next yes. But embrace the no's, go for no's. So I remember when I went from offline to online, whilst I brought on the same strategy and principles and everything, it was a little bit different. I had to find my feet online. I went through 21 no's before I got my first yes. Now, most people would have been blown out of the water on the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th no. But because I understood sales, I knew there was another, I knew that somebody somewhere down the line was going to say yes. 21 calls. And this 22nd was an £18,000 sale.
Yeah.
She paid 50% up front. So 2021, 22, 23, and 24 became sales.
Yeah.
So you got to understand there's going to be a lot of no's. Accept them. It's nothing to do with you. It's more to do with them than it is you. So remove your ego from the emotional side of it. It is what it is, but just keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward. Because there's somebody out there in the world. There's a lot of out there in the world that need you and they're ready to invest in you.
And it's so true that what you're saying is serving is selling, selling is serving. They come together. They're very much interlinked. And I remember the first few years of my business, I haven't been doing as long as you, and I didn't really know anything about business. I knew loads about social work, but even in social work, you're kind of selling. You're selling your service. So even if you're a coach and you're coming into this, we sell all the time. We sell to our kids the next vacation or holiday that we're planning. They might say, no, I don't want to go there. You're selling all the time. And I'm really glad that you've said, don't take it personally, because I used to take it so personally. And now it's persistence. So I think, especially when you're trying to do it via Facebook Messenger, you are going to get a lot of ghosting. They've seen the message. Yeah. People are also very busy. Most of my clients, effective clients, are really busy. And also, I remember there was one stage I automated too early in my business. That left out a lot of the personal element. So I know this is the age of AI, and I'm not anti-AI. I do use it for research purposes. I don't write my content with it. I didn't write my book with it. But if you're going to use AI and like chatbots and stuff too early in your business, it's going to kill the trust. People are looking for a human connection.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. I think that's a critical point of view, right? That's a critical thing just to lean in on just quickly, because I know time is going, is that people are building the business out of order of sequence. So I see this phase 1, 2, and 3 in building a business. And most people are trying to inject phase 3 strategies when they're actually in phase 1, and they're in the wrong lane, and they need to get back into the lane where they are. If you've not done 10K months, 15K months, 20K months yet, you've got no right to try and automate anything at all, because there's still a lot of things, there's a lot of variables that still need working out, changing, tweaking. You need to learn how to sell. You need to learn how to have a conversation. You need to learn how to lead a conversation. You need to learn how to handle objections. You need to learn how to hold that space in that time frame, and to allow your prospect in order to come back to you with an objection and then handle that and close that. Yes, I think that's an important thing that you raised there.
And this, Andy's going to love me for this because I used to be his client. Like doing the boots in the ground kind of work, lead generation. You have like people, right? I'm going to give this strategy away for free. I do some of my selling via stories, Facebook stories, right? What I do is I actually look who has viewed my story. It's quite a good way of tracking who's watching you. And I know different people like look at your story because they want to check you out. They're just curious. But sometimes I've had quite a few new followers, which I never had, non-followers and stuff. And I'm doing what's called lead generation, which is having a spreadsheet. Now, this might sound really boring to you, but it is really crucial. Who are your like followers? Who's like your cold, warm, hot leads? The ones that are hot leads are previous customers who are maybe in your Facebook groups, who's on your email list. Even if you don't have one, keep like commenting, and they might not be, who keep commenting on your posts, who keep maybe messaging you, like who keep whoever. If you're not tracking this, you don't know how to convert those leads. They're not going to ever become clients. You don't know how to do those reaching out, conversations, because they might actually be waiting for you to solve their problem, because that if you don't know how to solve problems, you shouldn't actually have a business. But most of people that are listening to this and are in Andy's world, you're like an expert at the problem. Own it. Thank you so much, Andy. You've kind of like really reminded me of some basics and some things that I need to be doing. And I'm really glad that some of the stuff that you've shared, I am still doing. And also this thing that you said, I think is so important. You have to lead with your energy. You have to believe in yourself. There's a film, I can't remember it, I think it's with Adam Sandler, and it's about coaching, and he's coaching a basketball team, and it says something about the enemy is about you. It's usually always you versus you.
Always.
And that internal battle, that if you've watched the latest Superman, there is this scene that he's actually battling himself, right? I think it's a clone, but he's actually battling himself. A lot of the time, whatever it is, whether it's business, relationship, love, a lot of the time it's you and your beliefs about yourself that actually stop you from having the success and the fulfilled life that you lead.
Yeah. What do they say? New level, new devil.
And surround yourself with, I'm really glad I have lots of family, lots of friends, and lots of entrepreneur friends. Surround yourself with fellow entrepreneurs, especially if you're new in business.
Yeah, your environment is key.
Yeah. Find yourself a community. I'm so glad that you've come. Thank you so much for being a guest on the Reflective Space podcast. And thank you for whoever's watching and whoever's listening. Thank you. I'll be back soon with another episode. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.